Thank you very much, Babu. Kumi ya kwenye mingela doku taranara walen ka banku ni mul kachandi. Ka kacha kul mi den ngela banku la nyatu tala and kul mu yalan ko ngel ngaji ko wolle we keri mu yalan ko ni wol continue Gambia la nyatu tabe ko yala back and Gambia la jiwa be ko yala back. So until anytime I come wrong, we will answer to you. We are here for the Gambian people, of course. The last time we had a conversation, I said that. Mbe la modal fanan kontu na bake mbal funa ekola alimbara nde tumu Omar Saiboleti mbuta Gambia le mu Gambia dingolti and santem benna masters leti kam painting Italy jang and demo activist olti human rights activist and then a transitional justice advocate and and also I have got experience for the past 7 years working with government, with civil society, with NGOs and international organizations. So angane meduna kacha kuno babu abaraka bake. I look forward to a fruitful discussion.
Thank you very much, Omar. Kontaneta wala bake fona anum beduale dorong alama ibefe fen karankan alama akelan nafati ay ken nafati Gambia. So today ba choose la I think we'll add both side being fenkela Mandinka Wolof and small English maybe because fen mi alonko and from here because me parts dol kuntula mi alonko mba dundida different platform also. So pour que inform woto la follow before going Okay, Omar, comme before mbe duna fonko no follow lafta ke nyini kare la jar jar comme yemune ke fo bi ka fo Omar be damin to bi itata ni yemun ni muneke idunta ni munton nani findita ni mun dulalle.
Hi, thank you very much, Babu. Nte dal Uluta Bansane of Central River Region and Ghana Primary School, High School, Beke Jela. I did my high school in Armitage actually, then Tata Gambia College, HTC Gambia College, and then I Tata University of the Gambia where political science study. And my activism started in 2015, 2016 during the 2016 presidential election of Minaka. Bring a faham ku Gambia lafta falingolela and pareta muna wulen kam mansa sindi mansa mu yanan ko aben na nyantol bunyala aben na nyatota sementu yala ana be bankola yirwa fasala wulen tel dundi activism kono ani nying human rights do ko be mun ke gambi and 2016 we all joined the coalition the campaign okay and bring Adam Winda Yaya Kwatita Deloda, we were part of the youngest in that movement. Gambia has decided. Malonfoy lawyer Salih Talo they created this movement and Gambia has decided. Delengo dinimulti nung mulbo sementu and kan delego blari noma nung delenga conference okay and then Kafoko Gambia have to go and then support the boycott of the university exam and be. So the activism start tawanyale. And then the jar veteran ara wolen kaje ko banko tare kilimo kan ay tamanin silola na mansa kunda dokulal na public official ngaje ko ye banko sambani hormoni bunyani kilimola wolen tel wolinde. So moving forward ndela first attempt bring 2016 tambita o kilimba solbe tambita wolen in 2018 I led a protest in the National Assembly bring the then Minister of Finance, Amadou Sane, there is this constitutional mandate of submitting what is called a supplementary appropriation bill. A supplementary appropriation bill, Minister of Finance, Minister Mumbe Dending, Rankeso la Bundala, national budget submit. And Yantaka a buy budget submit like the supplementary appropriation bill for unforeseen issues comme kol mi anan koy make budget ko wala ni massive kol mun ka disaster ni kol be why ni manya na ka tambi 1% of the total budget la I must submit for that year during amado ni submit atambita wala and then I found it very problematic we need to stop the National Assembly from doing this because we said the new Gambia and then the new Gambia cannot continue on a 10th year we wanted a system change. I did that in 2018. and bari nga mara mun fo yen tela activism wala ndi ato I'm so mo jama mun be jaman mul haklo be 2018 2019 law massive protest nothing the deportation
Rotation.
announcement nyinga all be kala je biring Allah association in German wanted a protest in the Gambia. I was the one in contact with them, Yaya Sonko, Asan Sala. I led that protest. And then aside from the 3 years journey and the 5 years journey as political movement, that was the biggest protest monkey in Gambia. I led that, you know, and we were able to have a hold on protest and on deportation, even though yeah that's and below I get into activism now. I speak on my mind. I speak to hold government official to account, regardless of who is involved. Because look kuma kilim fule babu. And then ndeka tu fula mole. Nitela activism. Adari tanim famal.
Nyadi.
My biological father was the deputy governor and an acting governor in 2016, 2017, between 28, between 2010. In fact, at the Munu regional chairman of the Janjambure area council, he worked on the Jamme. During Jamme Kadejila, one of the problems was Kudanna police station Dole DJ. And that was under my dad. During Yajeme Jefo, I went to a radio station 100 meters away from my house and I told Gambians and I told Bansang Koleko, Alkana Yajeme Tony, ya munyanta kata ya Yajeme ko ate mummoy ani mummo imanki clinty walen kariti. And that was my dad. Baba, I can tell you over 6 months not that in Bayala Sokon, I don't go home. I stayed at the dormitory in the college. So wala ni mol ka funye ko ite yin hanyo boni mi don ko nite man nte boka sila na na ta to nya ko moy ani because nte ngane ko binte fama man dal keri in fama system mum support nte bo system ko no bi so ni nda fana system support mum man bedia ndingul better system ko no
Okay.
so nte la activity started
Kuma nguna janto domandim because EFM for jami alon ko I en sambad ladot I ko sambad ladot ya wala ko ya start la dad la side okay uto ngajelo ko ite be minke kan you mean it imantra ke kan pol mol yeje or any other thing but I love to kenyi ninka fenna la folom before because ni ma start folom for love to the headline so le makante rek
okay
wala ko foi fente je mi yalon ko inene yake o inene yafo and you not regret ni not any activism ko
I'm not sure. I cannot remember in my activism I have done anything or say anything that I regret. Whatever I say it with a very clear consent, and I don't regret it.
okay
As
thank you
far
very much
as Mammo Tonyeng, I have not regret since I entered activism. I've been who I am 8 years ago up to today. If I'm not worse today.
okay so in left to drum ngamuru ko mo demanding 2016 because ya foko diamo konoko you were a part of those people madam Minute Baker Baro support them Omar ila force day ye baroje because we all needed change that time why did ila force day ye baroje how confident were you
You see, there are kudantan le bije mol nyanda kamu meaning ni mol nyanda kamu koro sinin kolbe kere 2016 benu nyami at that time the laftanu munna wolen ya jame mol bamal fale ay famal fa ay mol ni ikanu nyol ni badi mol borandi nyole bu kan nyoje enen laftale ya jame ta they as a process the first time nga baro lamoy wala la sukuta midinoti anu nga kuma kline fo anu mba fala jambi ko baro abira diamu dan ngala ko hani sise bol ya diala ta samala malo fe o manika kan understand
la fa hambaka
comme hani sise bungo ni ya diala ta samala no but at that time ndenga mum fara mira wolen ko it's not about baro it's about a coalition mu yalon ko nga mol so jende ngamara mu yalon ko ila mira lo ntella na fa bunda anina mira ya at that time ko nyanda kam masa kunda mun sibol tara halifa sala bijele may bijele anu fanan ma mira ko ni Usainu Dabo Fintan prison abe lala baro kan belong as an individual and a coalition abundant or something more from mira so at that time we wanted Jammeh to go we know Barrow was not as an individual the solution, but we also wanted a transition. Niajibe, we supported the 3 years agreement because Nanako, in their 3 years, Barrow is not a better president, but we just need a transition so that we go back to the polls, then Gambians can decide on competence at that time because Barrow was never competent. We know things just things just go left. But from the beginning, they Nanako Barrow, they Barrow one thing. Bob, to be honest.
Okay. Iya kuma do for jam from me along ko akumara because Gambian jama ka fole wala ko when it comes to Dabo and the coalition, Dabo with Barrow and other stuffs. Omar Tata Domani, the Jenimbe question. Okay, now may come more lesaya. Okay. Wala muko kabrin Dabo fintita mbeya mwele I coalition I 3 years I reject le 100%. Even Minka support for you will say that. So itala mira roto. Coalition no minul yalon ko itolle beje wolle fon ya tinya fodun Dabo was the brain behind this thing.
I think it's a collective response, isn't it? I look at individuals, but I always collective responsibility. I think the coalition failed from the inception. The coalition agreements, the kind of things they said in the coalition, even though those were progressive. But yang hanamadi ya binyami anim man sakunda binyami surtout banko mu yalongo akatamu ni luala ibe kukundinke kam foisa sembendi luwa bala domande. Even though the political science or Africa ko ni luwa kurmo be caring, we go by good practice. But if good practice goes to the worst, people hide behind laws. So Munekeda, well, in the coalition in the first place, Enyantaka system in designing, I think they fail a little bit in designing the system that way. Dabo must take part of the blame, but Dabo was just one individual. And what Dabo does, probably any other person, knowing the kind of Gambian mentality we'll have, will do that. Well, in Kajeko, Adebe Barole protect them at that time. And also, Abala Patio protect them at that time, even though there's no justification. You understand? But bring coalition Otaka, first start disintegrate. Daboko Baromu UDP lady, and then Ademo constitutional loyalty, and therefore the constitution say 5 years and not 3 years. Dabo, from my own opinion, did not say that because he loved Gambia or he knows the constitution or he loved constitution more than any other person. I work it just like how an ordinary politician in Africa, surtout in the Gambia Bakela, to protect his own interests. But what was the position of the rest of the coalition members and Gambian people to ensure that, look, you campaign on A, B, C, and 3, and we must ensure those things work, including holding Dabo accountable for those statements? Because we all know the constitution says 5 years. But if you understand transitional justice processes, there is always a bypass of the law to create certain systems even move from the kind of, if it is conflict or if it is dictatorship, to more of a democratic dispensation. In that duration, it's not fundamental to rely heavily on constitutional and laws. You understand? So, but over and over, I think Dabo gave a breaking door to the failure of Barrow respecting certain promises, including the PEAs, transitional period, and all of that. So he will take a part of this year, but the coalition will take a part of this year, and then the Gambian people for now will take a part of this year because we all fail to uphold to those principles.
Okay. Omar, come Nana coalition to demand because Kabrin Najele, the moment Barrow left the Gambia soil, Katasi, Senegal, I with some of these people, you know. But Nata Jele, Kumakangol Kafindemi Yalonko is between other side, Minu Yalonko Barrow Fejeto, and in Minu Yalonko Gambia. Because Najele Halifa Sala, Naka, my party, I Kumol Bondi Halifa Sala Bonta respond. So at that stage, Mojama Kafo Nako Teta, and what more double man fintin follow. For a mamira Yunus Fongol, if Fongol le Kubetinya Fonkon, even before Kabin Dawonata, will act na acquire Sembosot.
Yeah, generally in political history, especially in Africa, coalitions will always separate. And all understand the Niajibe, Jomai and Usman in Senegal, a lot of people when they came to power, Mulba like ite labanda, because generally coalition building is difficult, especially in Africa. Yalo maningol ka humiye ko, hana madi mo manke samu ta nyoti.
Mhm.
Abafale barun tenga kumu de te fenyo mu da kumu bula la sabe kinna.
Mhm.
Del gambenol mbewo nyale. So mune kera bring coalition tara foy winta drong, mo be tata ke kumule nyini. And then already in within the system, they are started to create different groups. Halifa, who refused to run away, was in Banjul and was the right person to look at communication okay, because a telling coalitional spokesperson at the time, if my memory can serve me well.
Yeah.
And Barona camp Taradak, Senegal, and already they are creating that mini camps
Mhm.
within the coalition, and they are popping out certain informations. So the separation or the disintegration has started before Dabo Fintranan. But Munante, I respect Hussein Dabo very well. That is a statesman, regardless of everybody have their boss and he's politician like any other politician for me. But I expected that when he came out, Grafitran the Kufula Yandako Walenko, Kasi, Kakualesuno Jibe, Muni Munekeda, Munan Mantel Winter in the first place. Because Yalam Hanamadi Mufanang, Yantaka, ni Molbe ko Saibo Teng, Babu Teng. Sometimes among the Mola Dia Model Letter, but I came together.
Yeah.
Because I remember some of the statement of Luka Ken Wole ni Dabo Mantanum prison in the first place and Sonanum Coalition.
Yeah, more careful.
Ya understand.
Mm.
So na finita nang ada finita nang comme diamu maison si ada coalition agreement oto every agreement ate start ko question ay baro bampu ko ha baro mat dingoleti baro was to Gambia as Moses was to Israel. Come some of those statements were inappropriate for me, even though saying he given himself that those were his personal thoughts and ideas. It has nothing to do with the UDP. But as a statesman like him, I don't think those things were appropriate at that early stage of our coalition and our transition. You understand? So ko kito nyala so mo be stata ke kumule mi mbe kala muneti ni coalition kono because iko la fana jibe ko la policy jama biye amanke lafta fala sola because ilafta ka banko la nyato tale semenduya ilafta fala sola because ilafta symbol na they just want positions. I know ni dunta diamo ko be ku jamal le mala e kade moy political party londi bi babu sama aita ay nomination oke sini akoy ko ha ante dal ndengam funyole ntafuta kare leka
Mhm.
no winda ay palaso dia so ngaje na ikaje le ko ndengani political be natara nata e katari kumol le fe mo wondi ha ibe kino kala tablo ka nyali dimbayale ibe dingul sambala america nyadile comme ibe pratol buronga prado musol buronga ko ba ka nyali comme de la politisol buke mi mo won nin kala politisol de bango ka ike mire kum keso la and that is one of the problems for Gambian politics and Gambian governance since the time of Jawara. From every region it gets worse, but there are very, very similarities from the Jawara government to the Jambia government and now to the Borough government. It's all the same. You understand? And then for the next few years, Limbang Hakilodu, we will never have that kind of a governance system, Babu, we are Abentel Londla on the right track. We will not have that system that will boost our economy. We will not have that system that will boost our infrastructure. We will not have that system that will boost our educational system because if they are there, they have greater chances to send their children to United States, to America, to England, to land. They don't care about ordinary Gambian Diumunkata Batokunku Lower Basic School or the University of the Gambia.
Mhm.
If they're there, if they get sick, they are sent to India, they are sent to America, they are sent to somewhere with their family. They will not care about Janjambure health care system. We are not going to so you can't get a governance system benyami na political benyami mo woni be dun kam politico no ko dun politico na fon la na fale kam no thing in 2021 mo jelle patio law wala mo jelle fil independent wala bi ibe state house ibe dogo la barono e kaje ko malati banko la gato tale la fekki fongol fili doron adama nyaayeje ay silere do ndire ay afo ko hambe brown envelope ko dire la be ministère ya dire la they come in.
Okay.
I don't understand. So you never tell batandika. And until nga mind change, nga millennial falling as ordinary Gambians. And in front nga thinking nga ko the voter population, yeah, understand ko what it takes to be a president in that country, what it takes to be a minister in that country, what does it take to be a public servant. Then we will continue to face these problems. And we will not have an end to them. Because everything that happens in Gambia's time, probably yet, apart from deliberately killing people, are happening. I'm sure you say we are talking about the headlines, we will talk about the terrible things that are happening there. As we speak, Barrow is taking journalists to court. Ayake, Ayesumangara, and a minister from Wulda is taking a journalist to court.
Yeah, because you people are the right person is in is diamundo nyen kola because ngalum bi fenko lafta min be fenkira te banno la ngalum be samba ne koteke it could be next week if you have time but be lafta nga because ngalum ko from here nyanta interview do sotla okay lafta do ngana constitution to demanding jennim be na wo masibol to follow ngana constitution to demanding because ngajele ka bring jamena ta first yo constitution mi yalon ko the former regime wala jawra regime be tamaka wonna anatla change ngaje ko deke ka bring indol fanata ya change anenga halifa la diamo mo yaka fo daminto ako kabri 1970 constitution I mean for the he still a lot of wala to wolem ko imanya na constitution obe falenna isimuna fono nyoro
I think ni nada constitutional building like Carola. Halifa can be right. You see, it depends. It depends on what the country wants at that time. I think Halifa got a point that we could look at the sections and clauses that are problematic in that constitution and change them.
Yeah,
because we have seen them do that. You see, Nimbu sila Gambia politician wala. Iman sile ila inyo iman sila wala. Babu. When they came, there are clauses they change in that constitution. Let's say the age limit.
Age limits. What
was changed. Let's say National Assembly kutamani from Bosha. Idunda bungo refinida. Your clause change clause mi alanko. You can if you are sacked from your party, you lose your seat.
Yeah.
Because that was in favor of them. So during Khalifa Wofo, at that time, I was very, very involved in the transitional justice process. I think, in fact, at that time, I was doing an internship with one of the biggest transitional justice movements in the world, ICDJ, and we did an analysis. And we understand that, Babu, let's look at the historical context of constitutional building in the Gambia. Constitutional that are in the Gambia. Let's look at the historical building from the 1970 Constitution. The 1970 Constitution was built on the legacy of the colonial laws.
Yeah.
You understand? That's why you have clauses and sections in the Constitution that were monarchical by nature. The Constitution was not perfect, but it was putting us in a space. Okay, we are coming from colonialism. It's a new direction for us. Okay, let's just accept this. Let's change A and B and C. Let's go ahead with this. They revamped the Constitution. 1997 Constitution. If you read the original version of the Constitution, it's not a bad Constitution, but it follows the same trend of the colonial rule. It's just laws that empower one individual, laws that empower the president and make it look like he's a saint in our system. Come, what loi si pare ko le bi loi mu yana ko president musika wala mo fi musika def aya sembentu ya abe ko kala mun diata mo ta kunu la. However, our constitution was progressive because um, globally, ne dunia constitutional jibe. Mone bankuneta paleta la constitution is perfect.
Mhm.
Eka constitutional dara muyalanko is progressive. It offers you the foundation to be able to be guided on principles and laws and legalities and legislations. But now, why? What one thing I disagree with Halifa is that you see, um, Mansakunda Mesiatale. And then, if I would tell you that the 1997 Constitution, from 1997 to 2022, before Jammeh left, it was amended. Yes, if Fadim more than one influence, more than uh, Taluru influence. The Constitution was amended 52 times in 22 years. You understand? So how long about Kalanu Kajako no falling be moving into a more democratic space or a more correct way? It was gonna be easier to go into a wider range of constitutional building process. But if we are going to amend coming Halifa Avenue, Najibe, Nadul falling Nadul Blade, or it's going to be a shallow process. It's just going to be Masakunda see okay, Alma section A Bondige, Eta Parliament ya approve. Banku Dula Mira rule, and in Lafel Luasi Falmuna will take care of because consultations we are going to be limited.
Okay,
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why when we come to when we talk the final version of the 2024 draft. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Would you want to come in, right?
Yeah, left off all in the drunk like for even this 2020 draft ning me along ko the mobeka wolefo majority beka for was the perfect one whatever mala ya fanya won nyanna but ni na to ofon korosi mol be jere minul ya lonko ya disagree le pour wo constitution betiatal wo draft ning so ya mira fana ko Gambia nol be mo bete agree no la comme ko kam ya lonko ilafta ka ke for the nation imamira wo fana Halifa ka will be le consider jenu
I agree to that, but come for Walling, there is Ninko more better agree nola. Absolutely, there is a need to be to what we call a popular consensus.
Okay.
Not every individual Gambian, but a popular consensus, a popular agreement to what kind of constitution we want was important, and then amendments will not give us that. Because Niajibe, I worked in the parliament. I worked with the fifth legislature as a researcher. Niajibe, Nibe Lua Falina, if they bring a bill to the parliament, the highest consultation they do is with civil societies and all of that. They don't get to the grassroots. That is a normal bills that come to the parliament. Let's say, for example, the Anti-Corruption Commission bill, the Access to Information bill, the Reparation bill, the Women Act bill, and all of that. They don't, to some extent, get to the grassroots. So, Kajako, Afuda Nyaunya, Bankudimula Kumakawai reflect. It was necessary to establish the CRC. For me, from my own perspective, and for somebody recently that have worked around constitution a little bit. You understand? So that was the point. So it was Halifa's suggestion was going to be okay if we look at the level of which the constitution was touched. Comme ni nga ko falindri jamal man keminje. Why babu sani mo nim fula. Ya constitution falin sinya taluru sinya fula. So abentala how long la because each section probably will come as a bylaw of its as a bill of its own. I don't tell how long the Kayako Gold will be falling individually. That was a thinking perspective for the and that is why it wasn't bad for the because and also near Jibe, even there will be consultancy, there is a population of the Gambia that have been marginalized for too long, that is the diaspora. You understand? And now today we talk about voting the diaspora. You and I, let's say for example, if we are here for the next 5 years, we will not decide who becomes our president next. None of I understand. So it was good that the CRC was established, and then at least online, on site, there have been a collective consultation both home and abroad. A popular consensus. Kafako had Banku Dimul La Miranya. Until Lafani Lua Kari Lua Kari because Lua, you see, um, building a law, there is legality, and there is what is called legitimacy. And legitimacy is drawn from the people. And now the law established the legality. You understand? So for me, it was not absolutely a bad idea for Halifa to suggest that. It's not also absolutely a bad idea for the CRC to build a new constitution. What is a bad idea is the results. And then the results is not either as Halifa was right or the CRC pro CRC that want us to have a fresh constitution was right. It's about in the middle. Where did we have it wrong? Because when the CRC constitution built in 2020 and the Assembly Parliament, Babu, like I said, I saw somebody ask that question. I said that we don't need a perfect constitution because there is no perfect constitution in the world. When we say a progressive constitution, well, in constitutional miyalongo at least more than nyantol. Gabanko dingola miranya aning mansakunda la tanya sembo lua buko muyalongo akakele ko banko dingola tamwodi. Power belongs to the people. O constitution siva ngawale build. Because if you go to America today, there are people that debate about their constitution.
Okay.
If you go to Ghana today, if you go to South Africa today, let's say for example Kenya, which constitution is one of the most progressive constitution according to people. I mean, they are 2010 constitution because they also went through similar stages before they were able to build the 2010 constitution. So the draft constitution was at least captured major issues. Kolbe o constitution economy at least del gamino lafta wala killing. Jawara sita ni Gambia more than sanji tansaba. Ya jame nada asita sanji muang aninfula. Nko mambalan mansal falina de way mansa nabnan. Alina fay ko ite 10 years lesono wala ite ni period lesono. Ibe mun keno la yo ke ngam ke ke gos mo be lafta kala mansa mo be la fay dum ke mansa ka mo kilim blaje e ka ke mansa ka ni Gambia mu baro kunda de wala kamara kunda mala ni wala. Time limit in the constitution. Nko fanan ko that ne constitution ni kono jibe e buka sembo sikay kadi mo clean na babu mun diata ayake mode kuno la because no si paketa dron aka mole sika ay sementu ya afan bala andu mo buka na kuno je nko ya je mena time minister mun diaw dara akole cika aya appoint akaranta o amankara o ye green dun dron asistika ayeke palaso donko mambala ndentele na sembo dira mansa lafta muna dron en mansa kunda bunda sabale ka samba wolen executive ti wolen president ti anala minister député bungo anin na kiti bungo ka fo muye judicial and there should be what is called separation of powers lafta muna wolen adama babu tiga ya fa gamelo ko nte de alende ke mansabi alko ngalla banko sambale sa nte nga babule ta la fa babule ke information minister ha adama ntel mom bala wala de bari sa ntel fanan nga molle bula dibide bun kono mul bentel kanwolti wollentel kanwolti wollentel nyaati wollentel simon asamba je ya kisi ya je ko je ni momul tombon adin la value nin la loi nin la miral nya ni la ta mosifa mu na mazakunda sama fo mu ku ko leer mo jimam. These are the kind of contemplations in the constitution. Now you left falling and then set a pace in the 2020 draft. But Adama, sorry, I don't know how the listeners find it. I find it very difficult to call him Mr. President anymore. feel like that constitution was a witch hunt. It was not a witch hunt. Adama Barrow fumole banku jimulta koy ko ngali ninkata mansati ngali ya lahidi lual mu yalon ko ate mo fala ate mo torala ate mo la nyanto tale bloko na luwa kuno dada na kodi jurumo duli ya te fon le tara ya ite kumbota dunia bantala bankon kole e ko alim mako na constitution dada but bring constitution data ya pass to the executive drum alamana la mo dinda bu ngone finde ko haji constitution yo dara pour kante ndela mansaya tiya ay député jo yalon Gambia kudo fana bentella della banko tiyan o len fukare yate muna mosi de jo 10000 na pour nga constitution fay ban na manke fukare yate na manke mirel baliyate
okay
10000
yalo ngana jeto sabo yalo wobe comme corruption min ka fodron Gambia abebe wala kon wala tapale ya ning hasidi ya mi yalon ko de akabo mansala kana duma be je but jennin kadu woto folon ngam muru jantu doma wala constitution na karoto jam because Adama Barrow ate ila main focus ila main campaign words kata munati wala mu be constitution dila la mi yalon ko Gambia ba fanna falala mobe ba fanjela je tapaleya ning hasliya aninka boy mol kan wo nyama abete sotlo ko teke sanji say no constitution model ko 1997 constitution ay Barrow favor le 100% ninne atin na Barrow man la fika wo ma word alafta mol push la up to the end ay na fuka be constitution of fallen isi muna fono nyin
you know I agree ni wala position you see there is this term I use you know what is called a legal dictator. A legal dictator is somebody that hide behind bad laws. As far as there are laws, people have to respect them to get what he wants. Because Barrow Yaluneko, the 1997 constitution where Sembo Diale, I free right diala, Mundiata Ayake. Just like the way Jameta. But aman silo le soto because amanke ay Gambiano dama yalon ndela mansa nyol na mansa kunda e buka sila ndela de. Ekasila exactly. Ekasila yi international organization lela eka kodo dani mul bulun tella to yala ina ya desu nya bunjangol lo ye motol sang ekasila wolela because wolte o kodo nanda ko ni wol mo kodo nanda maybe ite dula so lay ma bila dami yeta America yeta tubabu du yeta bungul lo dula so they constitution building standard but for them they want the 19 because if they don't want the 1997 constitution comme ya fanyami nyata baro malafi 1997 constitution the 2020 draft ye mun kere wala ka falin biro ke 1990 constitution ko mole mun ko e mu loi pour mo let mun na baro te sono constitution nyata amal la fi 1997 constitution and niya jibe sai anala minister Dauda Jallo the Barrow papers ye mul produce the Barrow Dauda constitution Yajibe is very similar to the 1997 constitution naman ki jawyade because ye femfe ni mu yanko yola falinka ite mu sunyaro ka accountability bambali and transparency yola ta ye bondi je kote like for example we talk about the leadership and integrity clause yalo mol buka constitutional read back it come because leadership and integrity drong it's just about the moral value more blah blah but who define integrity no wo close started for the Kafoko as a public officer, Emmanuel Naka bribe time mobile in return of delivering a service in a code of conduct. And you could jama, and then Dauda da lo teledo. But I ask you really to ha niaje o bondije because the clause is binding, is entrenching, meaning it's unchangeable. Babu, look at this. Ila mo yun la kumakaon la fong. Ika na ko yil sila ta konti bola. Imang hani konti bola because yan ko iman tilig. Mo tilig ni mo buka sila konti bola. Ita jibe. Adama la immunity, the presidential immunity clause. Now, your integrity the leadership clause bondi there is an accountability clause. We are abe hold accountable while they're in power. I don't want that. I a leader life after presidency, authority immunity clause and put protective clauses there. You understand? Atara can you I don't want to give a most appoint in the first place ban as presidential advisors, as ministers, as as directors, as speakers of the National Assembly. Do we think the Nana come wall ye doko ni nole bang? Because Nana ko Adama ye modul ke palaso to be. 2016 wala la fa Gambia malano.
Very true.
So ite amera ko wol be la fa luwa mi yalon ko ba fla sa ni Adama la taka Omar Saibo ke speaker di National Assembly mo le nyanta kata ya kisi sonna because ite le America luwa ke nyari muna molle ko diata yilti eko Adama eko now if you are going to appoint a minister or a public official at the National Assembly, the National Assembly will confirm and approve. You understand? Now, your bondage, if you are appointing somebody, it goes to the Public Service Commission. But that Public Service Commission, Alama Baroleka will appoint. Babu, you need to take na HR officer, not organization. I'm going to go Babu, na HR officer. You need to hire. We need to move na kete yala na ko Babu ning hire ko ni hani. Exactly. Now, judges and other people, they will be appointed and confirmation by the Judiciary Service Commission. Who hired the Judiciary Service Commission? Araba. Where is the accountability? So, yeah, constitutional baby, a food and yaunya, more better agreement coming up, more better agreement a constitutional, while 2020 was at least a better constitution to put us in a democratic foundation. That's my opinion.
Okay. Lafta still now bet constitution because ngaje ko fana like me along ko wala new draft constitution first 2020 draft constitution ni nata impeachment on the side. Ngaje this place ila 2024 is it 2024?
Yeah, 2024. That's it. 2024.
Yeah. So if I can remember walemko yo bondijel ninko ya bondije wolenko itolla fitala nyamin and in 2020 draft constitution abijeto nyamin is quite different.
Wole mundi?
Ning impeachment come president or pro is impeachment.
Nko wole fo yalo ya mun understand wolenko. Adamo lapta ka si impraso as long as ya deme munkije wala modo munkije. He doesn't want to leave.
But like imagine Gambia no le fo Adam Baroke abinyami nabi.
But ndaka do fole ko. Ndel amage ngake abinyami de. Ndel nga jawyandi. Because in the first place, Bab, na yende ni kachaso. Na yende ni kachaso la jam first in the first place. Adama Imuneke from 2017 to 2021 through government was a karte fire cottage. I don't know, man. Adama Baro. Imuneke was sat from 2017 Namke Kantasara. Katajirinti ya ke mundiatai. Kakumul sata mundiatai. Munatina na Adama tambindi kotake in the first place. So the madam mayela question o jabileko del gaminol fon le katulum fon sometimes.
Yeah, okay, because ila model of a live TikTok nduntaje just mba follow ka nga record le nga ke Baraka TV na YouTube channel auto abeje baro abediam just ikadiam like mbuka understand come like dindingo minka diamu ibe kumol foka mi ya lonko ngani silo de dale mbe nyin silo de da kan ntata janale nyinoli inyanne nyin political party yo. These are the things mi ya lonko drong akatu nyin si falle fola akatu. So I mistakenly ne yaran baro nabe diamu ande ka penola muta drong ngallo. Ante fani ya fola. Nabe live ko ande ka penole batu drong. Ako wala manola sero. Ako wobe dunia belo kon. So anata mune fo ko ania jibe Gambia alafta fola Gambia le manda jita dula bete ako Gambia le mano da seta dula bete ya kuntu wala fongot ye life fon kuntu wala to partout. So come these are the things me along ko Gambia andung na kuma fo mbama nyol ni na sister nyol ni mfama nyol wolle beje ka bulo ko sai. So baro abe kumol fola mi just like talent. So imam wala nan ko yonko yambiran tol gambenol fon tol le mam baroke akata nyamin nabi ande mba prepare kanne mbe nel fen mara mba fanya mbe ne den ko de da kan enne pour baro ala ta fe kala ke o banko kan
yalon te comme babu Gambia mus dual mu yango aba koleari ne bake and mula miyal nya ko ha ni alay mun tambil hey ala buka mansa tambil ndella ka mansa kije
ndolende.
so that notion mixed with our societal values ko katna mo jama kat nin kuma kan sifal moy baro buli ka bulo ko anu yalo ni mulka nim bulo ko ndeng wala fo moy last time mulka nim bulo ko ba sorry for the language why ñil batata ndene mu yana ko ni dasa musu de konton sotla
ndi
konton sotla de simon
amon ke fanko sorry fo do to nyal
ni tara leptano de boro sotla
yeah
you understand buri kaji le franco ndella biri jawra watu ndella mansal ya nako is very easy to eradicate poverty ka fukarea bondi Gambia amam kole abot ye nya kas jere because ya nako fukarea le beter sindilo place because adama tara ñin to mun maybe sate abita man bodo sabat nani lulu sambaje mon mi yalon ko e kam man bodo e kam manu poti sumane lulu ni tara bidi ko de poti nani suma ita ya tabi ye mani bodo flat sabadi wala ko be jama kala e ko wala man le toindi so they play with an opportunity of poverty ndaka fo ñane bari fanan na mol ñanda ke ñaayene yalon ko mani boto be price o mun to be Gambia. An ordinary Gambian la salary mujallad. I mean a master's degree. Like somebody as a director, you don't even earn more than 25,000. How much is 25,000 in a euro? On a dollar is 300 euros.
It's less than that.
Exactly. How much is Adama paid? Over 3,000, over 5,000 euro.
Yeah, I think so.
Adama is paid over 300,000 plus on tax. I mean on tax. You understand? So wala nte mbuga fono moy hadi lin ka chasi par wulde because nana ko abatabe wara way fonsin na molla hakilo le sabitindi ni na ide la ko ka fo ko ha ala kari tentino lo bitama ko jide ite nyanda ka mole ki yemu yanon ko ay la nyanto ni la nyato ta ni la balu nyima ayo semmentu yande ayo bambal.
Okay, Saibo, ngaji ko because time min to daje pour ngebula amon siabake la fa dronga domandi ma corruption wala karo because now policy na ko teke because nyanta min be ka talanta be ka tanola be because ye interview do so okay ngana corruption tututi ngaje wala mun commission different commission ko mi ka fanya mi Gambia do be commission la dro bari anda bu kana da fa soto bari la fronga tada mi do wala IEC Nindula motan tila bakira IEC because ikapuma kama mbe fujeto nte mol kadame mira kodola karo nde buka woto mira sai nde buka je mira de
I think they tell mira nyakili.
Oh yeah nde buka fem because momin site kanyin sifa wotan tola karte fayo nyadilem akake nyadile
babu bring audit report ñe finta. It took me days pour nga faham pour nga kumo borondi around munketa ye mum fo coming to agree or to look at the audit report because near give from even to write on my Facebook like I normally do. I think I did that day before yesterday because I couldn't ma understand no exactly that if there is nearly bunda be Gambia munyanta ka tilimu ka foroya anyanta ka ke IEC let because near jibe fuka pare tel IEC ko biga kuma do ya IEC nyanta ke kangol kanta bakale because during 1997 IEC ko molie tumile ko eka election sunyane dol ba fala ke jole dol ba fala ko because man salaka tije bari comme tumuro ko alla tilimum al man tilim o meda jele ya ni mol koy ko ifinda kana finti findu o kayda ni mola dongo yala ngafo amon findronde hana ko mo fon finda ne IEC la audit report jibe the coloning is one thing that we need to ensure that we don't nurture corruption in the Gambia. I will start with two things. Gambia koto afla moyo ko ntella ranke so ntella budget o ntella election o sambala no. Not even 10% of our election budget can be pulled from our national budget technically. Ntella like external funding lekan. Wala bank ala dunia la bundal munka election mako ECOWAS EU AU ni audit report in jibe over 21 million worth of coupon was from the AU. How many $1 million out of that was unreported and unretired? Wasn't that told? ECOWAS plus funds over 500,000 plus is part of the corruption scandal. What are the risks for our elections in 2026? If ECOWAS and the AU are serious about accountability, it is ko mun na dundin dalla election ko yara fan dalla election IEC ka sile ko do moy del support na ko nek wala baro right to have no we cancel election because we don't have funds. We have seen African presidents do it, no? That there are no funds and then we cancel elections. But put that aside. Do we think now any serious political party, we also have problem with political parties in that country. Any serious political party be la no la IEC la bank tanyi sunya jamate momu yin ko jama momu yin so so kanyi ko jama sunya fo moto jono la ko do ban pra election sunya ban
lafte ñinin kala ñun dal fon yen sabon jeeto wala mu ko if nga fo ñama senya folo ning ayatara IEC the same IEC le be jeeto election o keta baro winter what do you expect?
Mol bafla ye joko dol mol bafla maybe because mol bafla already found there is more to this story than people think. People are already accusing them that they are in the same lane with the government on this.
Very true.
So our 2026 elections, I know is going to be a turning point and a very critical point for the country, for the Gambia, but this is going to make it worse, and then it's very, very realistic to steal elections. Probably whoever don't know, but it's very, very realistic to steal elections, especially a very, very, how do you call it, a manual system like the Gambia's election. Very manual. Zero technological arrangement. Look, we still use manual, even paper registration, even compilation of everything. We use a very simple technology, IT technology or manual. We have voter registrations. How many times do we have red flags of people being given attestations and voters cards that are not Gambians?
Yeah.
So it's absolute that we can steal elections. Whether it's going to happen or not, we don't know. Whether it has happened before or we don't know. But what we are trying to flag here is that from the fact that they could be involved in such a corruption scandal, nobody can trust them. And until I say they should all resign. If they violate before the investigation in fact concludes, they should go out. We cannot trust people that can steal money without elections. They can steal elections. Elections can be stolen. So that's what I'm trying to say. That you
Okay,
know, um,
marvelous. I think it's marvelous because when it comes to election, because near Korosi, election will not be caring. Every party equal representative for sort of the any poll, yeah. But like result all min ka finti at that stage, ka mo fongo jel mi yala presenta jeto, ateka min soto jeto, ani kana announce nyamin is always different. So mafoko ikasunya.
in fact, to answer Marvelous question, neither Marvelous election of following the kind of blunder. I don't know Jammeh have his vote, but Jammeh have a very strong case in 2016.
I know. Nga fole wo.
Mune kita yalo ning alamantari la kunko to rek. A fangole mune ya Jammeh tinya wala ay jojol Mumbai ame muni no yang bray case file. But you look at how they tabulate the results in the first place, how IEC tabulate the results. There are always errors. There are always errors in how they tabulate the results because the results are tabulated in a very manual form. And it also, oppositions have representatives in polling in election polls. Of course, they have representatives in election polls. But at the end of the day, that these results are entirely controlled by the IEC officials. And now that is counting on the spot, that makes it a bit better. But then before that, they have to carry all of these ballot boxes to one area, and then the polling agents have to transport themselves. They don't go with the IEC card. And also, it's not just at the polling stations that election can be stolen. Let's make that clear for Marvelous. He said how. It's not only that. I can tell you, during voter registration, during party registration, there are a lot of technicalities that can be seen as cheating in elections that could disadvantage one political party and advantage another political party. You understand? So generally, if the IEC could do this, they could steal elections. That's my conclusion. That's my argument.
Okay, Sebo, like we have 10 minutes or 9 minutes because before la order from Kodana. Left wrong and gentle because report those of the mi alonko among me, well, I think it's sports. Mi alonko ikafuko ghost worker sol biji, near yaka cause well, ika salary jo, but one marine mantra do college. So yenimbe investigate for ya long. But mi muna question notice sai wole muko. Yenyimne stop. So I'm people responsible. Munatina imi sambano ye justice face. This is my question in every department we alonko. As if I kasoto.
Alam Gambia benyani. Gambia masa kunda digita bagala.
I know.
Every little malpractice know that somebody that should take accountability measures have a party and a hand in it. They will brush it over the carpet. Wole Gambia tinya. Anytime that iko ha kari lake, umudindi staff already, or is not very prominent, along ko biraba kikan. Some mole abula kake obe sirin coma, and okay ko kana wori kuta bolanda because always that is the thing in that country. That okay, nina ba kikan, atela to fit, atela be santo, bari mumbe duma more. Don't you think that in fact some of those ghost workers are not alive? Their salaries are going to senior officials.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Especially with this parastatus that claim to be autonomous. That a lot of people are on their payroll, they are not alive, maybe their names don't even exist. Who do you take to court? Because you imagine a court. Momi alonga mantari aman sort of phone. Babu Kuyate man sort of phone for the first place. So what in promote that is what in accountability promote. Man, yalong dana nung de la Gambia. Shortly before I came, we petitioned the National Assembly Petition Committee about the land issue.
Yeah.
So sometimes for us activists, we do things to make the people understand that we have this right because we know nothing will happen because that National Assembly munyanta ko petition athlete will tenol musoro moma soro Gambia. So that's our problem. So every bit of accountability measure, know that somebody that should promote or lead that accountability have a conflicting interest somewhere. So the cases will die out. Nobody can say anything about it. That's the sad reality of our country.
Okay. Finally, mbarunga na nyin drone dira because before moving there, wala mo ngajere ko kom I think ila gayal lem wala mo ibe National Assembly question kan about those if I get it right, National Assembly or other about those 2017 what vehicles will me baroya di one motor to puruka investigate something like that in man, you know. A story nga sa fedulal to bon malo where I think Madi Jowate nyol if I can remember correct in National Assembly ko puriya investigate.
Okay, those, before yes.
Yeah, those 2017 what vehicles on Baroye D.
Pick up all.
Genau. So nying because comme ni nata constitution na karo ya fanya minna a president o ka donation no muta it's against the constitution order.
You have to. So this is the thing. The president can accept donations and gifts, but not from an anonymous individual. It has to be clear to Gambian people that Babule ni moto dina, Saibole ni penol dina, Prunga ketende, Prunga side, so that we know where they come from and we know it has nothing to do with our corrupting our system or interfering into our governance system. So that's what the constitution said that the president may accept gifts but must declare where the gifts are coming from. Just like the way they declare if EU give them money, just the way they declare if the United Nations give them money, that was the same way they were supposed to declare those vehicles.
Okay, but for 2017 for some because Halifa Salah drone diamuta nyunku wala no akata accept la. Kabin 2017 kana sign. Hani sign jam nim moya lon te malom folong jamale wo muto di barol.
Well, Bab. We will not know. And that is my problem ahead of 2026 because in the first place, Gambia, we don't even have an alternative. Because Biro Mutol Nara, we question that, okay, we don't deny that the president can give. In the first place, the president giving vehicles to the National Assembly kills check and balances in a normal system. But now also Mole Wulda, Eko ha Mole Molda and the Adam have all rights to take gifts. So it cannot be investigated. Because I can recall about this. I don't like talking about this, but I can recall I still have the screenshot of Yankuba Dabo. Our Yankuba Dabo today, that is a saint.
Yankuba Dabo, all people.
Wrote on his Facebook and say, I'm the one that donated the vehicles to Barrow. What can you do? Something like that. I still have the screenshot. Because they were in the same bed, they were married together. I mean, how do you want us to take anybody serious in that country? How do we put up accountability measures? Because Babu, you need to be cooking. You are a saint for the nuclear. Nobody is right in that country and nobody is wrong in that country. It's about agreeing with you because you are one of me. We could not investigate it because probably if we are going to investigate it, we were supposed to ask the National Assembly to summon the president and ask questions. The vehicles were donated to the National Assembly. How will they do that? They cannot. So these are the things that are happening in our system that the strongest accountability measures is the separation of powers, the National Assembly, the judiciary, and the executive overseeing each other. But always, especially between the executive and the National Assembly, there's a conflict because the executive is always using opportunities to silence the National Assembly so that they don't do their oversight function to check on them. So how do we know who gave those vehicles? We don't know. And those vehicles become personal properties of National Assembly members. At least, they went with they went with their, even though I don't agree with the Prado, it is Prado vehicles, but at least we know where they're coming from and we know the term of condition, even though the procurement and all of that also claims some corrupt practices. But at least, so these are the problems, in our country, Babu. Come Gambia la ko ni ko ba kacha la luolo hani ka wulle so manda muka dogo yen ka kacha ko ngal la no wuli ko de banna bari fana yete ka lon ko komi amanke komi mulkatari je. It's about us. It's about our society. What kind of individual like a wulu la society kono? What kind of people? Because Barrow was not born in France, nor in Germany, either in Italy. He was born in the Gambia. He went to Gambian schools. He was trained in the Gambian society. The ministers were born in the Gambia, were schooled in the Gambia, and they went through our systems. So that says a lot about our society. And we find it, we're gonna go a long way, Babu, to change these things until Gambians, like you, like me, like people back home, like people in the diaspora, understand these issues and forget about, partisan politics, forget about individual interests, and know that look, whoever you support today will not put food in the table of your children tomorrow. Whoever you support today will not buy medicines for your wife, for your children tomorrow. Whoever you support today will not fix that education system for your children tomorrow. Whoever you vote for today have serious implications on you tomorrow. Unless we make Gambians understand this, we will continue to talk about issues and we will continue to fight over and over because every day something, because for Adam, the only reason why I listen to Adam is to counter him because Ling Adam Diamu, the camera a daycare student of the Diamu. No, Adam, no, Babu, on a serious note, Adamala Cook and Dimile, on a serious note, with all due respect that he's president, Adamala Cook and Dimile, because Adama knew where we came from. Adama Manke told it. Adama knows that we are not even going to elect him as a head boy of Pansam Primary School. He knew that. We sacrificed to put him there because we thought he was going to be a bit of sensible. But Adama ka tilimbale ako bango ka no. And this is what I keep telling people. For us, probably, I don't know what the future holds, but we're going to go back home. And we're going to make sure that, and then I'm sure we're going to catch up again. There is serious, Babu, I'm talking to you today. Mark this for me. If Gambians don't take Gambia seriously, Adam is going to be president in 2026. I can tell you this for free, with no buts.
For more than even 20 years.
Like, I can tell you this for free. The kind of mentality we have, the kind of people we have in the country, because Adam can a political base about a building. He's building a political base. Because Gambians, we have a very, very low educated population. For them, the little roads, when I went to Banjul, I was in the Gambia in the summer. And I did this research for NDI through CRPD. I went to a village, Bao. I drove off road more than 2 hours to 3 hours to get there. And every 2-3 kilometers, I will have to reverse back to look for a better road to at least manage to go there. And when I get there, I ask them in 2026, if I ask them a question of if we are going to the polls today, who are you going to vote for? They will tell you Adam Barrow. You don't go for you're going to have direct call. There are specific places when I wanted to communicate to my team in other places. There's a specific place somebody hold my hand to go and stand there and have a network to call. But those people want to vote for Adama again because Adama fixed polls there that they will never see electricity in their life. So how do we make those people understand that elections have serious implications and it's beyond Adama going to them and tell them this is what I will do without doing anything.
Saibo, don't you think come here for our politicians they fail us because those are the people me along code it only nyanta around la ika kumol for Gambia no le me along code they need to know because santo la mafona tango nkuluta je mafona I know those places even kabinta the holiday I went to come nkuluta dam in Jinak still now kabrin and still now people are dying.
But that's the thing because for us, our oppositions have a very oppositions are the center stone of democratic governance and accountability and development. But in the Gambia, that's why I said that the politicians will left the palace with the they will wait. They will wait until is 2026 and just go for campaign and say, give me cartel. John Lemasen cafe. Suma toge. And then that's another advantage for the incumbent always. Because Babu, ni konyeko mbu nangeki konat ni narambe mburo dilela. Ani muye mburo dila konyeko ta kona dila na mburo kaplo ebe juma la kilanya.
Mimba dila na folonko.
Exactly. Afuta nyaunya mumbe siri mansa ka fele ko ngin kere kol man sone bari ninga nale karte fani ko de mba katala ngin fananke e be lala wala mun ka fe ko ni si da mba kala we don't want them to do development. They don't have fundings. We know how our political parties are, but political parties should be on the continuous run to educate, to create awareness, and to offer an alternative, a concrete alternative that Gambians will believe in and trust. At the end of the day, Gambian will makala until new let's say for the education folk or something or you more with new political parties because killing for Muna. Babu, I will say this. He's my guy. We did a whole lot of things together.
For you conclude because I've science like
yeah, I did political look. Even Kunum, not that, but even Kunum Awulda, I want one of our all-time picture in 2018. Look, when they arrested Doctor in 2017, I slept next to his leg in the cells. He was a demigod for us because he made us believe that he was an alternative for Gambian people. We stood by him. We supported him. We did everything with him. And today that guy is minister is a different case. Who do you trust again? Even Lanula Jumal, you moko moeko. Omar Saiboni is Melba Lola Tele, they know some of my call, I can't let say because I'm minister decide in the Lala. For more Kafanyako family. People call me, even campus, what time of campus, me Doctor Dunda campus, I'm always at doctor's house. We did a whole lot of things together. But today, probably, I speak to a lot of people, probably doctor would have been a better alternative for us in 2026. Probably. But today, his minister, everything that was wrong that he spoke about 10 years, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 4 years ago, is everything that is true today. You want people to believe in those kind of people, even if another new party might or a new individual might and say the karantale, the PhD soto, the falindro, who will trust who now in that country?
Yeah, Saibo, ila time of still now.
Yeah, I think I will need a 5 minute break. Let's say we close in 3 minutes so that I have a 5 minute break before the other one. But it's fine. You can always have me.
Okay. But finally, wala muko. Ntol mkafu minuli yoko because ngaje ko baro ila new draft constitution ye ku kirim for je wala ko. To be a president, you don't need to have. Yeah, manjele just sometimes kudol ka for himself. Okay, comme ka soutien di dro wala ko ni be kala ka isi keno president hani mankara. So imamira fana sign woku sifal fon nyanta will consider because one ngaje Dr. Ismaila Sisenyol mini yalonko njikiti la nu afele di pama ko dia tata baro ngaje Mamadou Sabal nyol pama ko dia tata baro sai imamira sai woto ngamuru na nyin talbe karan we should trust those people than nyin bachelor holders or degree holders.
Babu nenga nyin football today. Na mandinga pabi nenga nyin football to ma ponna banta ba to ko min to ma pabi ko ni ko ite man kende ya ko ta tel to am kran ma tel man kenan ko jawra manum kewat ay mun ke gambia man siade mol ka diable ko mi okay he has done a lot of things but also ni jawra ko do kenon tara mun jambi si be ko do fokan ya je na ya je mu kel ay mun ka man siade and Mboro Bijan Sai Mkoko. I mean, that was one alternative. Two, Jawara was sorry for this. I know it's not but Jawara was Muslim, Jamia was Muslim, Baro is Muslim. Probably we need to try a Christian. But I agree with you that if PhD holders and master's degree holders like us can do this, yes, of course let's go back to the madrasas. But mind you, even madrasas, some of these people are highly versed in the Quran. Muhammad Sabar is very versed in the Quran, and he doesn't do anything different. so, so, I don't think it's about education or not. It's about our society, and it's about also the kind of people that we tend to put in our public places. But moreover, I think the clause about education in the constitution is important, but also it cannot be justified at some point looking at the kind of people. But also we could look at other countries where they have highly educated individuals and see how progressive their government systems are and what kind of laws they put in place and what kind of progressive development they put in place. Senegal is a good example. Senegal, the president will be even though they have their boss, but Senegal, look, if you have never been to Senegal, if somebody have never been to Europe, Nitara Senegal being a they will not deny me.
I know.
You understand? So those things could be there. But I know also mind you, those clauses in the constitution are not there because of the way me and you are thinking, are simply there because if the constitution comes into effect, Barrow doesn't have any degree, so next election doesn't know. So for them, they are looking at very limited, very narrow of those clauses. Then we are thinking about this now, but that was not the purpose of them. For them, the purpose was okay, Barrow had to be president again and again. So if this clause is there, because Barrow even had a high school certificate, didn't have question. I don't think he have a high school certificate actually. So we stop it here for now. And thank you very much for having me. And I look forward to more of this kind of conversation.
Inshallah, Saibo, I think Mediamula Duma we see Muntuale Sinano Fabekera this weekend coming or another we see. But thank you very much for your time, huh? So see
thank you very much, and to all the listeners, thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to more of this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, guys, being Saibo Sutajanto.